Okay, go. I wasn't recording.
You find yourself in a new town, one that seems oddly familiar, but yet you know you've never been here before. The sky up above is clear blue, no clouds to be found. The sun is bright and shining, beams down on you a little heat, but there's a cool wind. As you walk through the town, you spot that it's full of outcasts, ogres, tieflings, hobbits, halflings, gnomes, people that would be shunned in a normal kingdom full of humans and other creatures. You notice that there's rogues, there's mages all around you, and you decide to figure out what this town is, and you travel to a tavern, hoping that maybe somewhere you could get some information, or at least get pointed to the right direction of the town hall or anything like that. Once inside the tavern, you see that there's only one table and it's quite empty. It's a very rundown place. It doesn't seem to get much business considering that there's so many people outside. It's very odd. You look at the barkeep and he's very old, almost balding. The very few hair he does have is gray and very thin. You walk up to him and tell him, or talk to him.
Oh, am I supposed to talk to him?
Yes, Jolen, that's your character, man.
I know, but usually they'll stop there. Like, you're just in the tavern. They don't say you approach the man. I have to decide to approach him.
Nah.
Because what if it's one of those taverns where you sit down and a host and a waiter/waitress comes and she's like, "What can I get you, sugar?"
I don't know. That's why I'm telling you. That's why I stated that it was empty and there's nothing there.
All right. I approach
the bartender.
I approach the old barkeep. I put one elbow on the counter and look at him and say, "What does the guy got to do to get a drink around here?"
The old man slowly turns around, looks at you, squints. Clearly, he can't see well. He grabs very slowly and shakingly grabs one old bottle that is covered with cobwebs and dust and places it in front of you. In a feeble old man voice, you could barely make out what he says. You hear him go, "That'll be 50 gold pieces."
I look at the barkeep, take the elbow off the table, and tell him, "I'm sorry, I only drink light ales."
Oh man. Okay, I don't know where to go with this anymore.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Jumblhoj podcast.
Hello. Well, thank you for joining us again. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed our little run through scenario right there. Jolen being what are you, Jolen? What were you in that scenario? I didn't ask what you were. An adventurer, a maiden, a creature of the deep.
That was just a normal adventurer, level 1 kind of guy. Nothing special.
Okay, alright, yeah, see, I feel like that's an important detail that the DM should have asked his characters, his players.
But yeah, that whole intro skit is a segue to the main topic of our podcast, which we're going to talk about. And it's just our group of friends, Victor and I, and our extended friends included. We're all trying to start a campaign, a D&D campaign, because we're just like you. The Backstreetboyz reunion tour is still going on, so we have to stay at home.
Oh yeah, and we got so much time on our hands that we decided, why not learn a game that's been around for much old. It's older than us, pretty much.
Yeah.
So we were like, might as well just take a crack at it and see what's so awesome about it. And for those of you that still have no idea what we're talking about, it's a fantasy role-playing game called Dungeons and Dragons. Maybe you've heard of it every now and again through popular media. But yeah, it's just a pretty much game. It's a game where like you come up with scenarios. You come up with adventures and quests for characters. Whoever's playing. Um, the main person, the dungeon master, he's the one that comes up with all these ideas and puts the players, which are the characters, through all the trials and tribulations. And that's what me and Jolen are trying to figure out, how to play the game, how to make characters, and how to make our own adventures.
Mm-hmm. But before we get into all that, let's just some housekeeping. Victor, how are you? How have things been?
I've been well. Like myself personally, physically, mentally, I've been very well. Just surviving the dreaded Backstreetboyz so far. Family issues have arisen here and there, so I've kind of had this mentality of like, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. But as for now, there's no point in dwelling on stuff you can't control.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. How about you, Jolen? How's your day going? How are you been feeling?
I've been doing all right. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've gone a little stir crazy just being indoors, which is weird because I'm a person who's usually indoors.
Oh, I see. It's a little too much.
Yeah. But I like hanging out with the family, cooking with the family, taking care of my dog, and then just being able to like draw and play video games, especially Animal Crossing. It's helped a lot.
Oh yeah. Have you been playing Animal Crossing daily?
Yeah, I have.
Keeping
Right
up
now,
with your townfall and stuff?
yeah, right now my island is undergoing like a massive urban project.
That you're creating?
Yeah, that I'm creating. I'm trying to build.
How so?
I'm trying to build a botanical garden.
Ooh, okay, all right.
And it's gonna take up almost a fifth of the island.
Oh, damn.
So it's pretty
okay.
big.
So you're gonna have like a wide variety of flowers and plants there.
Yeah, I've been creating hybrids. I need more white windflowers because I got them from your island.
Wait, are they white or did you breed them to be white?
No. White is like one of the defaults.
Really? Oh, then you could just come over to my island, buddy, and just
But I
buy
think
some
the
more.
last time I went over, like they didn't have any for sale. They only had the ones that I already had.
Oh, I think that was when I recently bought, or you gave me the new flowers that you had at your island. So for some reason my shop just started selling those nowadays or something like that.
Oh, I see.
But I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know once the windflowers are back, and once you can come over and buy some.
Or even if you like breed white ones, I could just go and take them.
Oh, actually, I do have at least I would say a couple handfuls of the white ones that I'm not gonna use anymore because like I said, I'm trying to breed specific colors, so I'm either gonna sell them or toss them, and I could just give them to you if you want.
Yeah, that'll help a lot. Because I think when I got the windflowers from you, I got 2 red ones, 2 orange ones, and 1 white one.
What? Why didn't you get another one?
Because you had recently planted them, so I couldn't tell what were the colors.
Like they were still just sprouting.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So tell me more about this botanical garden though. Like, are you planning on making a maze in there, like a hedge maze, or is it? Just
I was
gonna
thinking
be
about
like
it, but I don't have enough space.
Oh, so is it just gonna be like a place where you go and enjoy the nature and chill?
Kinda.
Sit down?
So like when you first walk in, I have it all like fenced as well.
Oh, okay. What type of fence are you using though?
I'm using the corral fence.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice wooden one.
Yeah. If I had the capture card, I would have like. Well, we still probably could.
Yeah. I mean,
like if you visit my island, you could use the capture card and capture like the botanical garden, and we could put it in.
Ooh, an episode to come up on the channel, huh? Check, showing off our islands or
right?
Our MTV cribs.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be great.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments below, people. If you're on YouTube, let us know if you would like to see a video of our islands on Animal Crossing.
Anyways, so you walk in and there's this like there's this lake in the middle of like a sitting area, and it's all like I made dirt roads around the lake. And then there's like a second level where I made waterfalls that go into the lake, and I put a fountain on top of that second level.
Okay, all right.
So that's like the main kind of like sitting area. You can take pictures. There's flowers. It's great. And then as you start walking up, there's a little section that's like specifically dedicated to roses. So it's like this a small rose garden.
Oh, that's nice.
Then I put a staircase where you walk up, and then if you go down from the staircase, there's gonna be like a sky cafe.
A cafe? What's that?
Yeah, like just a cafe that overlooks like the rest of the garden.
That's beautiful. That's like picture opportunity right there.
Yeah, and then as you walk up, there's a little windflower section followed by like a Japanese garden area.
I see. You're trying to make it very, very relaxed, zenny. Just a place to chill.
Yeah, so I have like the zen fencing. I have like the deer scare bamboo. I have the raccoon figure too.
Nice. What are you gonna put any benches in the park? Or
Yeah, there's benches scattered.
Nice.
So then, so from the Japanese garden, if you go all the way to the left, there's like a mountainous area where all the cedars, and there's like an area where you can sit down and look at like the bee shrine.
The bee shrine?
Yeah, I have a bee shrine as well.
You praise the bees?
Yeah.
And what happened to your speaking of shrines, what happened to your shrine to water sheep?
I couldn't get the shooting star to make the sheep figure.
The star pieces, the Aries thing?
Yeah. Anyways, just to quickly wrap it up, if you go down, so if you're in between the mountain area and the Japanese garden, if you head down to the left, there's like another little incline where I planted all the rare flowers that I have right now.
Yeah.
So like the black tulips, the purple tulips, the blue hyacinths, they're all up there. And then if you go down from there, it's just like all the colors of all the flowers.
You were able to breed black tulips?
Yeah.
Man, look at you, lucky son of a bitch over here.
So I hopefully, like, once we finish recording the podcast, you can visit my island so you can actually see it.
Yeah, I'd be down. That sounds fun.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. That's what I'm doing in Animal Crossing. It's pretty fun.
Got your hands full, because terraforming in Animal Crossing could take such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I myself am slowly discovering that, because I decided to give my island a complete overhaul as well, and in order to get like a blank slate, I destroyed all my mountains area, and I just took forever. Like I'm still not even complete with it right now. Like I still got a section that I got to clear out, and oh man, it's just been taking me so long, to the point where like
it takes a long time.
Yeah, I put like a YouTube video or maybe some music in the background. I just go to town on it, and I'm there for like 3 hours, and I'm still not done. And I'm just like, you know what? I think that's enough for today. I did what I came to do for now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, see, like right now, I know it's. Have you heard that like Switches are very hard to come by right now during the Backstreetboyz reunion tour?
Oh yeah, dude. There's like a shortage of all of them, even the lights.
Really? I've actually seen a lot of like lights for sale, but many people don't really want to buy the lights because they either have the normal Switch, the full console, or they want to buy the console, so they don't tend to go for the lights yet.
Oh yeah, but even the lights, they're like kind of hard to come by.
Yeah, that just sucks right there.
I know, but I mean, what do you expect? Like the Backstreetboyz reunion tour, everyone's trying to, you know.
It's ruining cities and businesses all around.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. But if you do have a Switch, Animal Crossing is definitely a game we would recommend, just because it's one of those games you could do daily, something small. You know, you don't have to do much on a day-to-day basis, and it's very relaxing. You know, you just chill and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. So I mean, with that, I just get into the meat of this podcast.
All right. So we were talking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
So I myself, since you and me are planning to be the DMs, the people that create the story for the players, that I personally feel like that's at least more demanding job than being a player itself.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on that because again, like we said, we're brand new to this, but I have been trying to research as much as I can, and we recently all created our characters, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, like I created my own character first, just learning the basics of how to do so, and then I taught it to Jolen and the other gang. And at least we have our characters created, so at least whenever a normal campaign comes along, we could just plop those characters. I discovered that for at least for the best immersion possible, it's best to create a character that goes along with the campaign, or vice versa, where like if you're creating your own campaign by like your own imagination, like you're making it from scratch, it's best to like incorporate your players' characters information to the campaign as well, like it really helps them feel like they're part of this world more so than just plopping these random characters into a world that kind of just feels out of nowhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so it's very fun. It's very at least right now that we have so much time on our hands, it's very it's very helpful to flex those creative muscles. What have you researched, Jolen? What have you learned that you didn't know before?
Oh wait, hold on. Let's take a quick break, just
Okay,
so I can check the audio.
Go for it. We'll be right back. Let me know when we go back.
All right, and we're back.
All right. Well, everything seems fine. So where we left off, Jolen.
You're asking like what I learned.
Yeah.
What I learned in boating school is
blankety blank.
You passed. No, so I was doing research on both sides, whether it was being a DM or just being a normal player, and I mean, being a DM is obviously harder than just playing the game.
Yeah.
But for someone who's played video games before, especially like RPGs, it's not too different. There's just more there's more variety in things that can happen. So obviously, say you're a warrior and you go off and you find like an ogre, right? Usually in a video game you have to fight the ogre or whatever, but because you have these like different statistics that are tied to your character, you can honestly just like, if your stats are high enough, you can talk to the ogre and be like, whoa, hey, we don't need to fight, like this is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's true. Action, like combat, isn't always your first option if you have other skills available.
Yeah, and also like combat in Dungeons and Dragons, what I learned is like it's not like so one-on-one where like you do something, or it's not so turn-based where like I complete an action and then the enemy completes an action. It's like the character has like reactions, interactions, they have like a bonus attack, and they have their own like action.
Yeah.
So it's very, if you're a new player and you don't keep track of these things, you can get very lost.
Yeah, big time.
But it seems fun. I'm very excited. Like I want to try playing, and I also want to try being the dungeon master, and eventually I want to try to create my own campaign.
Like right now, well, the way this all began for us, is ever since high school we've known about Dungeons and Dragons, and like you stated, we played video games before, and we played RPGs, and so we kind of got like at least a sense of what, you know, the basic elements to Dungeons and Dragons would be. You know, just creating a character and the fantasy element to it all. So I in high school we always wanted to be part, or at least join a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. You know, like see how it all is and how it all works. And so when was it? Like a year or two ago, I actually bought the Essentials kit that Dungeons and Dragons sells. And it's pretty much just like it comes with the basic rulebook, and then it comes with a pre-made adventure that you could, you know, campaign in. You could either run it yourself if you're the DM, you're the ruler, or as a player, it's a basic adventure that will guide you through what it feels like to play the game in general.
Yeah.
And what's helpful about the Essentials kit is that it comes with, you know, dice that you're gonna need. It comes with sheets of like where you could create your character, and it has all the information there. So it pretty much has all the stuff that, you know, a first timer will definitely find useful. And what I really enjoyed about this kit is that the campaign that they give you so that you could run is it's actually much bigger than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be something simple, you know, like you just run a few missions and that's it, that's the end of it, and go out and, you know, discover other campaigns that we sell that are pre-made, or come up with your own. But as I was reading through the campaign myself, I found out that like this campaign could be one that like could take you months to complete, depending on how often you guys could play and for how long, you know, the group that you're playing with.
Yeah.
So it goes from like you pretty much, just to give a synopsis of without spoiling anything, it's you're in a town and you could do some quests, and I thought there's only be like 3 quests, you know, like I said, I thought it was gonna be short, but not only is there 3 quests, but if you want, once you complete those quests, new ones show up afterwards, and
Ooh.
each quest could encounter anything small from like normal tiny easy bad guys to kill to the main big bad, which is like the strongest enemy there is, that they provide for you. And I find that very helpful, very fun, entertaining, and I honestly, as I was reading it all, I just kept getting more and more excited to get you guys to join me and just run this campaign and just, you know, go to town on it and see how imaginative we could get with it, all the experiences, and see if we could at least get a good sense of what Dungeons and Dragons has to offer for all of us.
Ah, I see. And I think something that like you didn't touch upon was like back in high school we were interested in playing it, but the thing is we didn't know anybody who was playing it, or we were too like afraid to ask people like, hey, are you guys playing Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Which
time.
I mean, looking back, like, it's kind of dumb. You shouldn't let something like that ruin your fun,
or at least stop you from experiencing something new entirely.
Yeah, so it's taken us this long to be like, oh, you know what, we don't know, well, we did know somebody, but we're not going to get into that. But yeah, it took us this long to just be like, you know, let's just learn the rules and let's make our own campaign.
Let's just jump right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like, well, at least in high school, I knew a definite challenge for me when it came to Dungeons and Dragons was just the immense scale of it all. You know what I mean? This is a game that's been around since what, like 1980s, I believe, 1987 or something like that. So it's much older than us, and in that span of like 30, maybe 40 years, so much has been added to it. Rules, characters, monsters, adventures, campaigns that you could run. So whenever I would research it online, just like where to start on Dungeons and Dragons, so much information was just thrown in your face that it was very intimidating. I was just very scared to even look into something, because like when it came to creating a character, I knew that that's the first place to go. I wanted to start there, learn how to create a character. So many terms and words that I've never even like heard of before were like, what are these, like, why aren't they explaining what these are or what they mean? I was very intimidated by it all, to the point where I was like, you know what, I'll get to it later on, once probably I've talked about it with someone else. Maybe they could shed some light on all this.
Yeah.
But only until I was able to get the Essentials kit and read the rulebook myself did I realize that, sure, they lay a lot of terminology and vocabulary that you've never heard before, but they do explain it eventually. They're just trying to formulate it in a way that it explains everything in the most efficient way possible, without giving you pretty much a dictionary right at the start. Because I feel like if they did that, it would scare off even more people than it normally would.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so now that at least we've put one foot in the door, I feel like it's very fun, very entertaining, and I really just want to see how many people are down to join us, and hopefully expand our Dungeons and Dragons group.
Yeah, because I mean, the more the merrier.
Oh yeah, big time. And that's also something else I learned. The more players you have to run a campaign, the more, I guess, not the more elements are added to it, but if anything, just the more things you have to consider when running a campaign. Like, if you throw a low level enemy to a group of 7 people, they're gonna destroy this thing, no problem. Or where an enemy where 2 people might find extremely difficult to fight, 7 people would be able to take care of it like no problem, because you have people that are healing those that are low health or that took a big hit, while the others are attacking, and so forth and on, like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, it's not anything that's intimidating anymore like it was back then, but I definitely want to see how many people we could get and just have a big old fun time. You know what I mean? Like, a game night pretty much with a group of friends, and just invite it over, and we just all play Dungeons and Dragons for a good while.
Yeah, because I mean, right now we have 4 that would definitely play, right?
Yes.
Like you, me, and our 2 other friends, and
Yes.
then well, maximum we would have at least 2 more people.
Yep.
So that in itself, you're already running a campaign with like 5 people in it.
Yeah. So that's something I definitely have to take in consideration, because as I was reading the story or the campaign that was pre-made, I was definitely considering you and our 2 friends, and I was like, no, you know what, this is perfect. This is a perfect campaign for 3 people, 3 players. And then once I took in consideration of the possibility of maybe getting 2 more people, that's when I was like, oh, this monster might be a little too easy. They might get through it a lot faster, which is not bad, considering maybe some of us don't have as much time to maybe sit down for like an hour or 2. So maybe adding more people might get through the entire campaign much faster, which is a good thing. We could like discover new things later on, and then as we proceed, we could just later on, once we get to other campaigns, we'll know exactly how to edit them to either make it last longer or speed it up wherever we need to.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, but I'm excited. I want to see how this goes.
Me too. So tell me, Jolen, like, let the people know, what character did you create for your very first ever Dungeons and Dragons campaign?
Oh, ooh,
Yeah.
You want the people to hear about Surf and Turf?
Oh yeah, big time. Let
so,
them know. Lay it on, baby.
so my character's name is Surf and Turf. She's a level 1 fighter. She's a human fighter.
Yep.
And her background?
Yeah.
Background is Outlander.
Okay, I
And then
see.
for people who don't know anything about D&D, basically her race is human. Her class is a fighter, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's like any video game fighter class. Like they're just very good with weapons, and they can do a lot of damage, and they can also take a lot of damage.
Yeah, like they're just very versatile in fighting techniques and just skills on weapons.
And then her background is just like, it just adds to like the stats that she gets from being a human. And Outlanders are basically like, they just live alone in the forest. They're not really hermits, but they just decide to like not live in civilization.
Yeah, they could definitely fend for themselves, and they rely on, their skills to keep them going through every day.
And yeah, that's pretty much Surf and Turf. She comes from a village where people are named after food. There's obviously like the veggie clan, there's the meat clan, and the seafood clan, and she's the product of her father Tenderloin and her mother. I forgot what I named her mom.
Didn't you? Oh, yeah, me neither.
I just remember Tenderloin.
Well, clearly it was something seafood based. That's why you named her Surf
let's
and
just say
Turf.
Scallop.
Oh, there you go. Wasn't it Scallop?
Maybe.
Okay.
So her father
Yeah.
Tenderloin and her mother Scallop created Surf and Turf.
Mm-hmm.
And some natural phenomenon happened, and some monsters came and destroyed her village, and she's the last of her village, and she lives in the ruins. Or is she?
That's why she's an outlander, right? Like that's why she has that background.
Yeah, she never got over it, so she
defending
just
herself.
lives like in the ruins of her village.
Yeah, because like after that monster attack, she had no one to, protect her and take care of her anymore, so she had to fend for herself.
Mm-hmm. And she'll stay there until she hears the call to adventure.
Hey. And once that call is made, she knows that it's her duty to just experience everything.
That's when it all starts. The Legend of Surf and Turf.
See, and for those that like have no idea or have no Dungeons and Dragons background, all this stuff that Jolen just said is made up. Like there's no scripted place out there that you could read all this. Like he came up with it all himself, and that's the magic of D&D. You could make a character from the ground up entirely.
You can make a character as interesting as you want it to be, or it could just be as vanilla. It's just some random soldier who just like grew up in the capital, they joined the army, and then now they're just like, I want to be an adventurer.
Exactly. Yeah, and also like yourself, if you feel like you don't have much creative skills when it comes to making a story on the spot, you could also just make a character with your background. Someone maybe who lived in a house with a big family or so, or maybe no family, and that sort of stuff, and just went to school, and then one day decided to join the army, which would be like the Knights or something, and then one day he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go see what the world has for me, and then decided to explore, and that's how you get into the campaign that the DM is gonna run.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. It's so much liberating creativity. You could just make so much out of anything.
Yeah. So tell us about your character, Victor.
So my character is even before I even read the rules and the story, and I found out what races were and the classes and all that stuff, I already had something in mind. I knew for sure that I wanted him to be some sort of like half demon, half human, or maybe just full demon, because I was drawing up sketches of like a guy's head with like flame horns. Like they're not actual horns made out of bone, but they're like material flames that just sprout out from the nubs on his head, that sort of stuff. And I was like, well, I'm not sure if I could make this character or not, so let me read the rules and see how it goes. I found out that there's a race of like humanoid demons in Dungeons and Dragons, and I went with that race. They're called tieflings. And I knew for sure that in every RPG I've always enjoyed just magic, the wisdom, the whimsy of just like being able to conjure anything and everything you want on the spot. Just I found it fascinating. So I made him into a wizard. And the background I gave him, which would help me create the backstory for him, is a sage. So I made a character that, because he was half demon, or because he looks like a demon, everybody has shunned him since he was young. Nobody trusted him. Nobody wanted him in their stores or just wanted to hang out with him. So he had no friends. Therefore, he relied on his brains. He somehow knew that hurting others the way they hurt him was not the way to go. So he decided to study and use knowledge to better himself, or at least let him get out of the situation he was in through knowledge. And that's when he discovered books of magic. And then one day he met a man that didn't judge him by his appearance. He didn't care how he looked, or he didn't believe in the superstitions of all the others, and trusted him and let him into his house. And he found out that old man was actually a wizard, and he asked him to be his apprentice. And he did so because the wizard was getting much older, and he was like, I must pass on my knowledge. And one tragic day happened when my character, his name is Volthoom. I'm sorry I haven't mentioned that earlier. But one day Volthoom was studying up, taking care of the house, and making sure no one steals anything, that sort of stuff, just chilling at home, feeding the animals, probably, whatever. The old man left for an adventure, or at least for like supplies, or maybe just a rare item he needed for like a spell. And in that adventure, he died. Oh. And he never came back. That's when Volthoom, sometimes the adventures would last anywhere from like a week to maybe 3 months, but it's been a whole year since the old man came back, and that's when Volthoom got the sense that something tragic must have happened, and that's why he left the house of the old man. He sold whatever he could sell, but whatever he didn't want to sell, and he knew something like it was meaningful, or at least it was powerful, he took with him, and that being like a spell book and all the spells that the old man taught him. And that's when he began his adventure.
Alright, not bad.
Yeah, and
I do have to ask you though.
Yeah.
Why is his backstory so sad?
Well, because he's a demonoid, I guess I would say is the best way I could think of. Because of the way he looks. Nobody trusts him. Nobody. They all see him as like an omen or bad luck. So nobody wanted to be friends with him.
All right.
And I really that's one thing I'm having trouble figuring out for his backstory. I don't know if he had a family, and then something happened to them, which led him to be on himself at a young age, and that's when he found out nobody trusted him and so forth. Or if I was just gonna plan on making him an orphan, you know what I mean, like from the start, whether his own family abandoned him, or they got killed when he was a baby, that sort of stuff, and even at the orphanage they didn't trust him, or he couldn't make friends, so he decided to run away, and then that's what started his story.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, but like, you don't, as for people out there who are curious to create a character, you don't have to go into such detail as I did in your backstory. You could make it as brief as possible. You don't have to explain every small thing, as long as it explains, it makes sense to how your character became either a sage, or what was your background, Jolen?
Fighter.
Yeah.
Oh no. Sorry, Outlander.
Outlander. Yeah. So as long as it explains how the character got their backstory and how they got their class, I feel like that's enough to, be immersive enough for other people. Like you don't have to give full details. You could just come up with it later on as you go on your adventure, and people are asking you like, hey, so who are you? Like, we've never really met much, or something like that. You can just make it up on the spot. But yeah, just as long as you have a little skeletal basis that informs others, what your character's about.
Yeah, and just have fun with it. It's pretty much what the game is about, just having fun.
Yeah, because if you're not having fun, then you're not gonna enjoy going back to play more games. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, I was thinking that like if I ever make a new character, I kind of want to make like a Thor character.
Oh, like
where he's all high and mighty, and like he wants tales to be told about him throughout the ages.
Oh,
but he's gonna be like a gnome.
Oh, all right. So he's gonna be tiny.
Yeah, he's gonna be a tiny Thor.
No, not bad. Will he have magic powers like Thor?
I don't know. Can gnomes cast magic?
I'm not 100% sure if like by their race they can, but
but if he becomes like a wizard, right?
Yeah, like or even like a paladin, or not even a paladin, a cleric. Cleric is like that. You could definitely wear like a shield and armor, and then still be able to cast some spells.
The gnome can still be a fighter, because once you reach level 3 as a fighter, you can choose to either be like a champion, a battle something, or like an eldritch knight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the eldritch knight, he can cast magic.
Oh, that's so cool. See, there you go. Yeah, so like
he can wield like a big hammer and still be able to cast like lightning bolts.
He wields a hammer that's like the same size as him.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about for like if I ever make another character. But for now, I really like Surf and Turf.
Yeah, that's good. Like that's why right now there again, like I said, there's so much information out there for so many variables. You don't have to read all of it if you don't want to. But my suggestion was just to read what makes up your character. That way you know the ins and outs, and even as you go through your adventure and you level up, you know what's gonna come. And some of it might even get you excited to level up later on.
Just as like a kind of like a to close this topic with a question.
Yes.
Do you think if we create characters, which we'd only have to create 2, because Edward from the Couch Potatoes, he's also like gonna join our DnD group.
Yeah, he is.
But if we create characters for Bruce and Lewis from the Couch Potatoes, do you think they would play with us, at least like a Jumblhoj Couch Potato DnD?
That's a good question. I actually am not sure about that.
Cause and then we base it on their characteristics. So like I don't know what race Lewis would want to be, but we make him like a bard.
Oh, I see. So he's an entertainer and stuff. Like he's musical. Yeah, that would be cool.
And then we make Bruce like I don't know, some kind of like laid back kind of thing.
We could make Lewis. What is it? What's that race? From like the Lord of the Rings, the dude with
the halflings?
With the axe. Is it a halfling?
Wait, the dude with the axe.
Yeah, the dude with the axe, not the Hobbit dude.
I don't know. I haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
The race that's about like smithing and
the dwarves.
Are they the dwarves?
Yeah, they're dwarves.
Oh, then yes. We could make Lewis a dwarf that's a bard, and his background would be an entertainer. So he could dance and sing, and he's just very energetic.
No, we make Bruce like an elf or a half elf.
Yeah. Then he's just and then we could give him like the backstory of like maybe like a hermit or so, like where he's just chill by himself, like he's cool with that. See, I get the sensation that the guys from the Couch Potatoes would definitely find it enjoyable creating a character, but I'm not sure if they would be free enough with their busy schedules to join us in a full campaign.
Yeah, true.
But we could always ask and find out for ourselves.
Yeah. That's
a good idea.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we turned the channel into videos of us playing D&D.
Right.
And going through the campaign and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Any other topic you want to touch upon, Jolen? You had in mind? It's been been bothering you, that's been boiling deep inside your veins?
Not really. I mean, I'm trying to learn how to animate.
Oh yeah, how's that going for you? I haven't asked you in a while.
It's going okay. I'm watching a lot of like tutorials and videos, but I'm kind of stuck on when should I try to do like frame by frame, or when should I like learn how to tween, or what's the more popular version of animating nowadays?
Wait, what's tweening?
Tweening is basically like you give the computer the first and the last frames, and the computer kind of fills in the rest.
That's what it's called?
Yeah, and you can change like the duration of the tween. You can change like how it's called weight. Like, you know, say like you're gonna I don't know, like you're gonna jump, right? Obviously, like if you just lift the character up and down, it doesn't look like he's actually jumping. So to give the character weight, you have to do like, first you have to squish him a little bit, and then extend him a lot, and then kind of do the same thing in reverse, where like once he reaches the top, he squishes again, and then he extends all the way back down, and he squishes one last time.
Oh, I see. Okay. So like if you didn't add those effects, it would just look like his character was just hovering while he's just standing still for no reason.
Yeah, and you can make the computer tween all of that by like you doing it yourself. But yeah, I just, because I'm so new to it, I'm like, I really don't know how to start or what to even like try to animate.
Yeah, that I have no idea myself. Like, that is amazing. That's new stuff for me.
Yeah,
I've never even heard of it before. What about like, okay, so I'm only bringing this up because recently I saw like an ad for Rick and Morty, and I learned that their animation is based on vector animation.
Oh, and yeah, so the way that Rick and Morty does it,
yeah,
most of their animation is tweening, where it's like they only give keyframes and the computer will do the rest. But there's very specific scenes, like, you know, the Cronenberg episode.
Yes.
That's where that episode is a good example of when they mix tweening and classic frame by frame animation. Because like, say there's one example where like the guy is like standing up and then he goes down on all fours and he turns into a Cronenberg.
Okay, yeah.
So the head is tweened up until the point where like the jaw starts to extend, and then after that point everything is drawn frame by frame.
Yo, that's crazy. That's so much work in there.
Yeah, so that's how they kind of do it.
That is, like, I mean, it produces a great product, but it's like, it's so much work for the animators. Like,
yeah,
wow.
I'm not at that level yet.
Yeah. Well, once you at least learn, or at least you feel confident in making something, do you have any ideas in mind, or like right now you're just trying to focus on studying?
Yeah, dude, we're gonna animate our DnD.
Hey, oh, dude, that would be funny as hell.
No, I just want to make like simple videos, maybe some like fan animations for like Super Mega or GameGrumps or something.
Oh, okay,
and then eventually maybe I'll do like some kind of like explanations or story times, is what they call them.
Yeah.
On our channel, where we just talk about something.
Like something that's happened recently and stuff like that.
Yeah, or just like random stories that we have.
Oh, like some YouTube
like the Popeyes one that we talked about in the last podcast.
Oh yeah,
the Popeyes story where I just like stared intently at the lady as I rolled up.
Oh man, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make a great animation right there.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, well, good luck, man. That you're definitely taking on a lot more than I imagined.
Yeah.
But just because I've never really researched the topic myself.
Yeah, and plus I'm just like a big fan of animation. I just want to be able to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, if anything I've learned from this whole D&D escapade that we're going on right now, it's just get your foot in the door and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Shalabu.
Shalabu.
Yeah, that's definitely.
But yeah, that's all we got planned for today.
Yep. Thank you guys for joining us on another podcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you're on YouTube, what up? Remember, you could hear us on Anchor.fm and Spotify. If you are on Spotify or Anchor, thank you so much. We really appreciate your support on those platforms as well.
Exactly. And if you, especially for those on YouTube, if you're a part of a D&D group or just like you have people that you play with, and you want to throw some tips at some newbies, definitely put them down in the comments below. Or if you just want to talk about your character, that's always fun. You can tell us their backstories, things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
With that, thanks for listening. We love you guys. We'll see you all next time.
Bye. Stay beautiful.